Dominic on SmackDown, so I could see it as the perfect time. If he's going to don a mask, don it now.
Oh, it's fine. It's like, they need to do it in kind of a special way because just him, I'm going to throw on a mask now. It's just like they got to do something a little more with that than just throwing on a mask because it's going to be obvious. Hey, we already know what you look like. We get that you're carrying on a family legacy and Lucha Libre style, but they need to do something special about it. That's my 2 cents.
So, what do you think? They should have a mask match, and have it be Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn. That way, we can see whether or not Prince Mysterio El Generico comes back.
Wait a minute, they're going to have a mask versus title?
No, mask versus mask. Whoever loses has to put on a mask. I mean, Sami Zayn used to be El Generico.
Yeah, I just don't really see that being as appealing.
It was a joke. I don't think they're really going to do it. It was a joke, just playing on the fact that Sami Zayn used to wear a mask.
Yeah. I hope they will find a special way to put the mask on him, but we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. I personally think he should, since he's Rey Mysterio's son.
Oh, that's fine. I have no problem. It's just I wish it would. It's hard to go from. I know Mysterio did it, but Mysterio did it a much different way. They just need to do something special with it. That's the best I can really.
Well, you know who else went from not wearing a mask to wearing a mask? Kane.
That was a little odd too, but there was more of a story into it too by going back to being a demon.
Well, he went from I'm talking about when he went from being a dentist to being Diesel to being Kane. To being Kane without the mask, to being Kane with the mask, to being Kane without the mask, to being Kane with the mask.
You're being more of apples and oranges there. We're talking about being that's apples and oranges there, dude.
I would have loved if someone made a reference to it, like, did you used to be a dentist?
Surprised they didn't do that, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
So Bayley and Sasha face each other for the women's champion on this night. Bayley, or technically Sasha, won via DQ because Bayley got scared and started hitting her with a chair, essentially.
Yeah, I knew that match was going to be a throwaway and wasn't going to happen. Title switch, but it was a setup to carry on to Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell. That's the worst big man impersonation possible.
So one of the names they're coming up with, the one that almost won was called Rage in a Cage.
Yeah, that was my idea to have a cage match. If I was to have my own promotion, be Rage in a Cage.
I like the idea of calling it a silent match. I actually liked TNA's version of it where it had a bunch of weapons called Full Metal Mayhem.
Yeah.
But if I was to name it my own, it would be like a No Way Out match. And kind of lock up the cage, you can't escape kind of thing. But
and they might do sometime. Like renaming or having a name for Hell in a Cell you're talking about?
Well, if I was to run my own promotion and I had a cage match kind of like Hell in a Cell, I call it a No Way Out match. So basically, I have to stay within the cage.
Okay.
But that's just me. Back when I was a kid, I wanted to name my own wrestling promotion the National Wrestling Organization.
The NWO.
I had an NWO Matchbox car is what it came down to. But I thought that was like, let's call it that, and wanted to do it and everything, and yeah.
I had the same thought when I was a kid. I think old friend used to call ours was Extreme Wrestling Promotion or something like that. I can't remember anymore. Extreme Wrestling Confederation, but yeah, it was a fun moment. It made up fake titles out of paper. It's like a lot of kids do when they're a kid being in wrestling.
Yeah, we all did it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking, while I was watching the FCW story today, I know back when I was, I'm going to say 19, I think it was. I was trying to get into wrestling school with I remember Steve Kern being name on the computer I was looking at, and I was trying to figure out a way to get practicing and start getting into it, and then nothing came about it, obviously. And I thought about it again like a couple of years later. I was going to some indie shows in my hometown, and and trying to get into business somewhere or another. Never happened, but I decided to go the route of music instead, which is great. And hey, we're both in some kind of way of being in the business a little bit. Got our podcast going.
Right. So when I was 18, I was actually looking into doing it and trying to save up money to go to the school. As you and I both know, because we played high school football against each other, there's still athletic ability there, and it just didn't happen. The last other time I thought about doing it, I was probably about 22 or 23. Thinking about going in and doing it. Like, I even thought in depth of what my moves would be. Like, my submission finisher would be like a Texas Cloverleaf kind of thing.
Yeah.
All that. Like, I wrote down names, wrote down ideas for characters. I was going to be a face painted person. That whole nine.
Wow.
And like, even because of my height, I wanted to be more of a Jericho style wrestler, where kind of like did submissions, did some moves, very limited aerial, but I had to incorporate some aerial because I am not 6'4", I'm 6 foot even. So yeah.
I didn't really think too much in depth about it as much as you did. I know what my brother kept on telling me. You're gonna fit in more as a cruiserweight, which is the obvious. But I don't know. Yes, it was something that we both pretty much thought about, between our late teenage years and our 20s.
Yeah, I thought about it a lot at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was about 21, 22 is when WWE was running that feud between Triple H and Randy Orton, where Triple H busted in Randy Orton's house. It was running around that same era.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're thinking whose house could I bust into?
Well, the whole time I'm like, this has got to be a set, And I'm like, would I want to even do something like that, where I had to pretend to be at my own house and then have someone bust in with a sledgehammer and whatnot?
Well, I'm sure they'd pay for it.
Right. It's just more or less didn't know how to go about doing that.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. So I even thought of a storyline, and I'm like, some people can probably say that there's a resemblance between me and Triple H. I don't really hope they don't try to pair us up and be like illegitimate son, and then they do the Kurt Angle thing with Jason Jordan. I'm like, they probably would have fucking did that.
Hey, they did a lot of craziness stuff too. That could have happened.
Yeah, more likely would have with Vince McMahon's humor. So the next match was New Day versus Nakamura and Cesaro, and New Day comes away with the titles out of a random match.
Oh,
so
I wasn't sure how that was going to be about.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to break up Nakamura and Cesaro, in my opinion.
Quite possibly so. One of them goes to one show, the other one goes to the other show, or at least stays in the other show.
And I am okay with that, only if Cesaro goes to Raw and he takes the title off of Lashley. That's the only way I'm okay with it.
They'd be better off. They'd make him obviously a face to do that.
Well, and Cesaro should have won this title already, but WWE is WWE.
They made him come in to the WWE looking like $1 million from Japan, and
no, that's Nakamura. I'm talking about Cesaro.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My mind was.
I was talking about the Swiss Superman.
Never mind. I was thinking of Nakamura the whole way around.
Now, Nakamura should definitely be in a title picture, but of those, I want to see Cesaro beat Lashley. Have him do a giant swing.
He needs to have a big victory in his career. He hasn't had that yet. Been there forever.
Not at all.
Great size, and He says he hasn't had that big moment yet.
No, not yet.
Unfortunately.
So now they're the tag champions. And then the last picks of the night, we have from Stephanie McMahon, Xavier and Kofi go to Raw, Dana Brooke on Raw, Otis on SmackDown, and Big E on SmackDown, and Angel Garza on Raw. They have broken up one of the biggest tri groups that they've had, the most popular tri groups that they've had, by splitting up Big E from Kofi and Woods.
That reaction from New Day was priceless.
Well, they've been together now for a while.
Almost 10 years, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I mean, they came in right around the same time as the Wyatt family. And they are crazy over.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be doing anything match-wise. They're hosts of WrestleMania. Yeah. And all they did was really just use their mic skills and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want Big E to be a champion on his own. I do. But I don't think they had to break up the tri group to make that happen.
I guess they just wanted him to stay on his own without anybody around him and just kind of get his own way, find his own way. And I guess that's what they felt like they had to do, I guess. But it was like, damn. So now they got to reinvent Big E kind of, and I'm sure I'm guessing they'll have new music for him eventually. That's my guess. That probably best they do that, honestly.
Hopefully they do.
The only thing is that I don't think they would, at least. They don't want him going back to the character. At least there was a music and style when he was basically being a bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler. Let him be a face and let him grow. Have be more positive. I know some people are like, he needs to be a monster. I'm like, no, he don't need to be a monster. He's angry or anything. He don't need to be. But reinvent him in his own way. But we'll see how WWE books that.
Exactly. Then they had a backstage with Sasha, which this was a scathing promo from Sasha. It was really, really good. Then they had The Fiend versus Kevin Owens. Now, you and I both kind of felt like this was going to happen, that The Fiend was going to walk away with a win. He basically pinned Kevin Owens with a mandible claw. Kevin Owens put up a good fight, doing multiple super kicks to try and knock The Fiend down. This felt like they're trying to build more of the fact that The Fiend's kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
Sure. I wish they didn't do it at the expense of Kevin Owens, but sure.
Seems like he's the one. Seems like he's the one that does all the expense stuff, or at least a lot of it.
For the most part, it definitely seems like it. I mean, I'll give it to Rollins too, because Rollins has lost it to Dominic a few times, but it seems like it's mainly Owens. Yeah. And then at the very end, at the top of the stage, you had Fiend and Alexa just staring at each other.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing there, I'm digging that.
I like that storyline. Oh, I am about to say the same thing. I'm digging it. The scene where he evolves to. She's like possessed from the Fiend, so I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes further we go. So yeah, it's good booking for that. So
for that part of it, yeah, it was. Let's see how they develop the character. I don't think he's going to beat Roman anytime soon, but if Roman does get beat, I do want it to be The Fiend that does it.
I think that they're thinking that The Fiend doesn't need the title.
Possibly. Technically, Undertaker didn't. But it really depends on how they use him. Or even if The Fiend doesn't go into a feud with Roman until after Roman loses it. Mm-hmm. Because I definitely think those promo videos of the Firefly Funhouse and basically Bray going, Roman, you've been a bad boy, would be hilarious.
Yeah, you brought up the Undertaker. He didn't really have a lot of title runs, especially in the 90s. I mean, he had, 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't really have to have the title either.
He didn't. Heck, his first title reign only lasted 2 days.
Right.
So maybe they feel the same way that